Hello.
Welcome to the jungle.
You should see how we have this camera propped. We were really committed to making a video.
Oh, Michael Fox just sent us a message.
Aww.
Lots of hearts. 1, 2, 3,
Truth.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 hearts. Michael Fox, if you've seen this, you just sent us a message.
We're in Ojai. We are on the Cozy Dell Trail. And
Is it called Cozy?
Cozy Dell.
It's a cozy little spot we found. We've never been here before. Had a client meeting with one of my grooms and brides, Michael. Having a wedding in a couple weeks. And we decided
At a log
to stay
cabin.
Yeah, beautiful.
At a beautiful log cabin.
It's been a while, right?
Yeah, it seems like it. It's been a few lifetimes in between this and last time, just because of our trip, really.
For those of you that don't know, we went to Peru. You might be seeing this. We were just in Peru a little over a week ago. We were there with a sacred family in the jungles of the Amazon, and then to the heights, the Andes Mountains, and we were inspired to make some promises to each other.
We got married.
We got married.
We got married. Thank you for all the love that has been shared around our wedding. It was truly beyond what we could have ever planned. We were just talking at lunch how, weddings get planned and planned and planned for months and thousands of dollars, and it was really our last night in the jungle. We just knew that Peru was a place that we were to make our union official, and
One of the places we're
one
going
of
to
the
do.
places, yeah.
Our intention is to have a few ceremonies to celebrate.
Ceremonies, we call
Yeah,
them.
to share in this love. We feel very blessed and grateful to have found each other again. And so that was one of the first ones on 6/16/16 on the top of the Andes. So that's not what we're here to talk about. You guys have seen that, and we thank you so much. As Heather said, it's just a tsunami of love went around the planet, and we felt it returned back to us. And we also felt it returned in other ways. And I've chosen to do something non-traditional, which my mother, if you're watching this, she understands, but she says, I know, honey, you know me, I love tradition, and I know you don't. And I said, you know me so well, Mom.
We are pioneers.
I love tradition when it serves us, but a little side note is just to question tradition. Why do you do what you do? Is it just because your family and their family and their family and their family's done it?
The expectations.
Yeah, the expectations to just fall in line and do what everybody else is doing. Don't be bucking the apple cart, all right? And I'm like, I'm not an apple. I'm a banana, man. I'm supposed to be.
I'm on the wrong cart. Totally the wrong cart.
But what a day today has been, and we just want to really give a shout out to our. That's my DJ. Give a shout out to our dear brother and sister Anaya, Sophia, and Pete Wilson.
Thank you, guys.
They did a great video. Really sacred couple that we treasure along our journey. That is really doing. They doing what they say can't be done.
Ruthless honesty, bringing out. This morning they did a video on trust and lying. And it's a topic I think that is so widespread, and one that we don't talk about very often, because I think at one time or another we're all on the end of the lying, on opposite ends of the lying stick in our life, where we fear being truthful because we're fearful of reactions. We're fearful that we will be judged and not received as we are in our authentic truth. And so we create structures around our heart and around our own psyche, and exist very comfortably insulated from the truth of ourselves. I mean, the first people that we ever lie to are ourselves before we ever lie to anybody else.
Hmm.
And I know that journey. I know that I am constantly blessed to observe my beloved in his honesty, in his ruthless honesty, and he calls me higher into my own authenticity and honesty, and I appreciate that.
I I've had a guard around my heart of being lied to. I I've got a pretty strong shit detector when lies are happening. I've told my fair share of half truths or withholding truth, but my mother always told me, she's like, honey, you cannot lie because you get all red, and it's just,
You can't hide it.
I'm like Pinocchio. It can't happen. But I was sharing with Heather earlier today. One of my challenges in my journey is I spent about 7 years in a traditional Christian paradigm, and I'm grateful for it. The Church of Christ, the International Churches of Christ. For those of you that have ever been part of that, you know what I'm talking about. For those of you that don't, just understand that this environment that I was part of was, we were encouraged to be open and be transparent in our lives. Every week we had somebody giving their testimony, as we had communion every Sunday. And you'd always hear before Christ, after Christ. And this is who I was, and this is who I am now. And after 7 years of that, and studying the Bible and being very invested in people's lives, you'd see how many of us wear masks, and how many of us are walking around being other people when we're not really being authentic. And coming out of that and being in a world where people are just not really being real is really challenging for me. But I'm choosing to trust, and I thank Anaya for that. It's like the eternal optimist she talked about, that, you know what? When we're in the jungles, we talked a lot about this, that your percentages of success in choosing trust is a lot higher,
Way higher.
than you just going, you know what, I know this person's going to fuck me. Excuse my French. That wasn't
And then
French.
be right. Just carrying
Yeah,
that
you get
negative
that whole
energy
place.
around.
I'm right. I knew it. I knew you were a liar. I knew, but you're cut off. And I've lived a life. And today I wept and wept and wept by a stream of water as I poured my tears of the places in my own heart where I distrust. And I went to Peru in the jungles to spend some time with grandmother and grandfather, these ancient medicines, these plant medicines, to speak to me and help me remove the blocks around my heart. Because I know, and I speak for all of us, that when we're in a place and we guard our hearts because of wounds, because of past relationships where you've been hurt by those that say they love you, and they've made mistakes, and your parents make mistakes, and they love you with the best tools they know how to, and everyone's doing the best they can with the tools they have.
Yeah.
But it guards our hearts, and so we never know true intimacy. So we never know true love, because there's that place. And I've known in my own heart and journey that, I'm a pretty loving guy, but there's that still place in me that is guarded. And this journey to the jungles and have, sink deeper into trust. And without trust, this thing doesn't work.
At all.
Union doesn't work.
It doesn't. And it's amazing because, we're always going deeper in our own self-discovery. And when you're doing it with the mirror of the person that you love most in human form, it will show you all of your stuff, and you can choose to either surrender to it or to resist it. And quite honestly, there are a lot of times that I resist. I grew up in a really traditional Christian background also, where a lot of our reputation and the way that people perceived us was so important, even when things were not going well behind the scenes. And so I grew up living, learning that we show some faces to some people and other faces to other people. And I know that it was never malicious, like Jason said. It's, we do the best we can with the tools that we have, and we're all products of the generations that have come before us. And we talk about the sins of the fathers a lot, those things that have blocked us from the awareness of the love that we really are. And often we're doing it completely unconsciously. And so today, our love went deeper for sure. And Anaya and Pete, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Thank you for your courage. Thank you for your willingness to disrobe
Mm-hmm.
and become naked souls, that because you set off a chain reaction.
Mm-hmm.
And my head's buzzing right now.
Mm.
I know that is family, what we do for each other. That when we are willing to stand in our authentic truth, and nakedness, as awkward and as uncomfortable as it might be in moments, that when we do that, we liberate, we bring the medicine of liberation to everyone that comes in contact with us, and ourselves being the first. And the result is deeper love, deeper intimacy, deeper magic,
Mm-hmm.
deeper rest.
When we were in Peru, we were able to meet up with a dear sister of ours, Lerna Adams. Elena Ra.
Yeah.
Lerna Adams. You might
Yeah.
know her by different names, but we talked a lot
Star
about
sister.
bringing, there's a lot of headsy, lofty knowledge about what ascension is, but the ascension is happening with the dissension.
Mm-hmm.
And as we anchor and bring heaven to earth and bring spirit into matter, bringing love into our bodies, bringing heaven into our bodies, into our humanness. And, it was our intention. We left there going, you know what? And we don't sit there and act like we've got it all together. And if we have, please forgive us, because that's definitely not our intention. But I think our journey here from here on is to not be afraid to show the humanness.
Mm-hmm.
I think, and I know that for myself, when I am weak, I am strong. When I show my vulnerability, when I show my underbelly,
Your tummy.
like we were talking about in Peru, a dear brother of ours who was talking about, strength position, warrior positions, but the most powerful position is like, boom, bow before you. That's strength. Strength to show your weakness, to show your belly, go, look, here I am. For those of us that puff ourselves up and act like we got it all together, and act like the lions that we can be, and we are,
We are. I think for our journey, we're learning in such a huge way that it's not about being one or the other, and that one is not good and the other is bad. It's about allowing the full range of our human experience to dwell within us without apology to ourselves, knowing that all of it is divine, knowing that every bit of life that has seemed messy or complicated or disappointing or what felt like failure, that every bit of that, and allowing ourselves to feel the grief, the sorrow, the joy, all of it is really truly what liberates us, and not stuffing.
Yeah.
And so I think for me personally, that's been my biggest takeaway from our journey with the grandmother, and she's still weaving in us constantly, bringing new awareness of how to integrate this new love frequency in our bodies. And I just want to walk in the solid safety that it is okay to feel all of it,
Mm-hmm.
to recognize and acknowledge and bring balance to the places that cause whatever it is that, keeps suffering in place, keeps confusion in place, keeps resistance in place. There's no need to resist. It's going to happen anyway.
Resistance is futile.
It's futile.
So a song that comes to my mind is one of the songs that you sing, love, and that it's called "Unpack Your Heart." Don't stuff your heart. Don't stuff. Just unpack your heart. Find your community. Find your friends. Find those that you know accept you, love you, just as you are. Please know that you're enough as you are. This is the plight of humanity. We compare ourselves, and we're constantly having the not enoughness program running through our heads, and we are enough, just as we are, just as you are. You have gifts, you have talents, you have a unique offering right where you are. And
but they remain hidden when we staff. They will remain hidden. They will seem elusive. I just want to offer, sometimes it's easiest to start the honesty floodgate being opened with people that are a little bit more neutral, because I think honesty, trust is a muscle that we have to exercise, and sometimes we need to get that ball rolling with ones that there's no vested interest allowing us to come to terms with our own authenticity before we approach it with one that we're holding out, thinking there might be judgment or a reaction that's scary. We're here for you. We will pray with you. Hold that space, knowing that this kind of authenticity is the road to liberation.
Independence Day is coming up here in the United States. Free yourself, everybody. Free yourself. Free your mind, and the rest will follow. Be colorblind. Don't be so shallow. Jason Michael and Heather Powers. We are the Powers. We got the power. We love you.
Love you.
All right. Be well. Bye.